Very excited to sit down with Shawn and Zach, a couple of industry veterans. Shawn, CRO now of Zumper.
That's right.
Zach, co-founder of Rentgrata. Excited to dig in with you both. Before we get into the companies, dig into your personal journeys in multifamily. I'd love just to hear about kind of your meandering journey as you got stuck in this industry that is multifamily.
Yeah, so mine is probably the most non-traditional. Oh, actually, I'm sitting next to Zach. So, failed attorney, ended up working a little bit in private equity real estate, and then ended up spinning up my own lead generation brokerage in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Ran that for about 10 years, working with the largest landlords in New York City, and then ended up selling that company to Zumper in 2019. Took on a few roles for Zumper, general manager of the New York business, then moved over as a VP of operations for Zumper, and then about 2 years ago stepped in to take over the sales side. And then over the last 6 to 8 months took over the partnership revenue, and that's where I am today.
Very cool, man. Very cool background. I had no idea you started a business that led into Zumper.
I guess non-traditional as well. Started as an accountant at Ernst & Young. Went and got my undergrad in accounting, grad degree in accounting. So CPA was the journey. Quickly learned that CPA wasn't my journey. Needed to find a way out. So had an idea for a business, which was Rentgrata, but honestly, it was just an idea. And at the time, had no clue that it would become what it is now. Just thought, is there a way to connect people that know each other, mostly through Facebook connections, to see, does someone I know live in that community, and can I reference them before maybe looking to sign a lease there? And so I went to Sam, who then went to Ben, and then the three of us in 2016 created the idea of Rentgrata, and then Ben moved to Chicago. We became roommates and created what is now Rentgrata. So definitely didn't think that this is where I'd be, but glad to be here with you both.
Yeah, super cool. I'm excited to hear individually about the companies and the problem statement they solve. And then also we announced a big partnership, I think, just recently.
Yes, I think you might be the first to know, actually. We just kind of closed the deal on the floor earlier today.
Amazing. So we'll dig into the partnership side and really the 1 + 1 = 3. But before we go there, just tell us a little bit about what Zumper does, the problem they solve in the industry, and then obviously we'll do Rentgrata too.
Yeah, I think Zumper's the longest and largest ongoing privately held ILS. So typically, started off in that space being kind of very similar to what Zillow and Apartments.com have done. Over the years and more recently over the past couple of years, we've really started to try to kind of deconstruct the renter's journey. And we've seen that, yes, the ILS is like a cornerstone of the industry. I don't see it going anywhere. But as the surface area for all of our communities expands online, and as shoppers' habits change a little bit, renters' habits change a little bit, we've seen an opportunity to kind of shore up everywhere our community appears, whether that's on social, whether that's in the review space on social proofing, whether it's us, creating media solutions for them that are kind of up-leveled. So we've tried to really find out where else can we fit in to support our customers outside of the ILS. It sounds kind of weird coming from me to say that, but that has been something that we've been focused on over the last 24 to 36 months, and to some pretty good success.
Okay, it sounds like a perfect segue into Rentgrata, and then maybe the 1 + 1 = 3 here.
Yeah, so we also identified that reputation was such a big deal for all of our clients. And really, it's not just reputation when you think of it in this factor of 1 and 2 and 3 stars on reviews, but 4 and 5 stars don't necessarily equal a 4 and 5 star experience. So the renter today, they're relying on reviews a lot more than they ever have, but they're getting information that just might not be representative of the experience. And in reality, you might close the lead to sign a lease there and move in, but they're probably going to turn over. They're probably going to write a bad review if their experience doesn't match what they were sold. And is that necessarily a good thing, to get someone in the door that's going to turn over and then you're going to have to market that unit again? So what we had thought was, is there a way to combine the ILS experience and the experience of understanding that the community exists with the statistics of really high converting leads that the referral program traditionally does? So by combining those two avenues of word of mouth marketing and social proof with more leads, can we create a more efficient lead process? And so At Rentgrata, we're doing the lead conversion, kind of nurturing leads from all different avenues. We're touching ILS leads, we're touching website leads, and then from that nurturing, we're also providing all of that data back to the communities to understand what do my residents love, what can be improved, what do my prospects want to know about, and can we use that data to make the experience better, but also surface it in different places to make the renter understand why this place is the best to call home.
Zach, is that a newer product? Because I think I saw that release recently and I was like, dang, that's valuable data. Like this is like when they're talking about you without you, that's the data that you want, right? Like they're the insights that you want to get as a PMC.
Exactly. So really, like the easiest way to explain it is you have ChatGPT, and we've essentially created our own ChatGPT, but for multifamily. And we're continuing to train it with your data at your communities from your renters. So if you're at one of our management companies, as these prospective renters are talking to residents, every time a conversation is happening, the model is getting smarter. And then we're helping you understand, instead of sending out a survey maybe once a year that gets a couple people to answer it, why not find that information out essentially in real time and use it the right way, whether you're third party or whether you're, the owner looking at your third-party management companies, or you're looking to maybe acquire a deal or something. What are you investing in? There's so many different avenues. And I think for a long time, our partners were saying, you have this gold mine of data, help us extract it. And that new product called ARI is what we've done, Actionable Renter Insights.
That is really cool. I love it. So I feel like the 1 + 1 = 3 is becoming very clear here. And I saw an announcement not that long ago about an integration between the two companies, but I believe more recently it just went to the next level. So tell us a little bit about the partnership and the partnership structure, and then we'll talk more about the benefit to operators.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you want to get into a partnership, you need to make sure there's some fits. And the first fit is on culture. And a couple of years ago, we started bumping into Rentgrata an awful lot on the road, and just really enjoyed their company and liked their perspective on how they viewed the renter journey. In March, we decided to go live with an integration, which kind of surfaces the Rentgrata quotes up top and earlier in the customer journey on the Zumper marketplace. So if somebody wants to engage with that property and talk to a current resident, they have the previous reviews there, they have the listing detail there. So it's kind of the thesis that those will be even better conversations than Rentgrata is having as a standalone now. And back to the customer journey point, for me, it was a no-brainer. In 2020, when COVID hit in New York City and I was running like a full-service brokerage for Zumper, we had a shelter in place, but we still needed to fill apartments. So we said, hey, what if we just leverage current tenants to kind of effectuate the showing, whether it's on the phone or a FaceTime? Ownership groups were petrified. No, you can't talk to my current tenants. What we started seeing was that the real feedback, whether or not it was all good or all bad, and it's usually somewhere in the middle, it actually built like a level of trust that was unexpected. And we saw applications kind of spike during COVID while other companies were challenged to fill these vacancies. So I came in with a bias that I really thought this was the future. And these guys have been great partners the whole way. And yeah, we will be, as of today, we will be kind of their exclusive reseller in the space. They'll still be doing their own sales, but we think that we can bring a lot of value to our customers through bundles and special rate cards and positioning on the platform that gives them like an advantage versus those customers who are kind of just doing it as a standalone.
Amazing. Partnerships can be hard. Tell us about what you saw in terms of like mission, vision, and values that really works. Like what was synergistic about this to you all, aside from the obvious value proposition to the end customer?
Do you want to take?
Are you sure you don't want to?
No, in all seriousness, like it would be kind of too easy to say they're all good people. But at the end of the day, like through the integration process and hundreds of conversations, they really was a shared perspective of where the business is going, where the industry is headed, that transparency is an inherently good thing, and it's not something to run away from. And like any good startup, they have a ton of energy, they're very nimble, and they move really quickly, which really aligns with how we still work at Zumper. Even though we're 12 years through, we are still very, very fast and nimble, and we like to still position ourselves as a startup. And I think that was one of the core values we saw, was just speed to market, aggressiveness. Like I said, Zach's such a great guy, so that sealed the deal.
I can vouch for the good human side.
And I'll add on the business side, even before today and before March, when we officially kind of surfaced the quotes on the listings, Zumper has been nothing but fantastic to us without anything in place or even without any future ideas of things in place. So from our standpoint, yes, you see a bunch of different vendors and supplier partners at all these conferences, and sure, you shake their hands, you ask if everything's going well, and you move on to the next thing. But in reality, you could always feel that Shawn, Allison, Jessica, everyone across the Zumper team has truly cared about what we're doing and the mission. And when it comes to the actual business side of the partnership, there is a different, unique angle that Rentgrata is taking to this market. And as Shawn pointed out, people are generally pretty nervous about what value proposition we're bringing to the market. They always tense up when they're thinking that my current residents are going to just completely put me under and say, don't move here. Yeah. But I think what they're failing to really understand is that if that is the case already today, those residents are on Reddit, they're on Facebook creating groups, they're on your Google reviews, they're already getting that impact out there. And if you look at conversion rates today, a conversion rate at a community, they might get 6% of their total lead volume to sign leases. I like to kind of flip that around and say, well, yeah, 6%, but what about the 94% that aren't leasing? Yeah. Are you identifying why they're not leasing? And if a portion of those are because they get skeptical from reading reviews or seeing something that might take them off of your trail, if you could capture those prospects and get them to chat with residents, what does that mean? And if that can have an impact that we can help you with, then you've just significantly changed the game by increasing your conversion rate. So I think for a long time we've seen this partnership as a potential, but happy it's reality.
It's so the name of the game when it comes to ILSs specifically, right? People talk a lot about the operational impact of a high volume of leads, but if you can move the needle on the conversion rate, that's what it's all about. So I see the obvious 1 + 1 = 3 here. Any more hot takes from OpTech? And I'd love to hear just kind of your thoughts on OpTech in general. This is obviously not your first rodeo, either of you. So it's obviously one of our favorite shows. We're kind of first in the budget every single year, but would love to hear your perspectives.
You want to take this or me first?
You can go first on this.
Off the cuff, just thinking out loud here, AI has been something that everyone has just been hot on for years now, but in reality, I think similar to kind of the virtual tours when COVID hit and everything, and now AI, a lot of companies have AI in place, or they generally have a good idea of if they're going to do it, or if they're not going to do it, then they've somewhat kind of moved on in a way. So in my opinion, it's like, well, what's next? If you hit COVID and you have virtual tours and self-guided tours, if you've inserted some sort of AI nurture product, how are you going to now impact your leads? And a kind of keeping the cold take going on and really going hot here, like, is it going to be almost a commodity if everyone is running, let's just say, the same AI nurture? Yep. Is the language going to be very similar? Is the process going to be very similar? And are you going to lose your brand? And if a prospect is receiving the cold prepackaged AI nurture and they're seeing the same thing from 4 companies, then did you just actually get rid of all the brand equity that you've built? Yeah. So is there going to be some sort of insertion of the human element back because they've seen that they've lost it? And I don't know. That's just my kind of thought of, are we going to maybe overcorrect a bit because everyone wants to make sure that their boss and their ownership groups know that they've done AI?
That's a really interesting thought. Like we saw kind of, you think about tech adoption lifecycle, right? We've seen the early majority and maybe even the late majority move into AI-based leasing, even on phone calls as well. And that technology is not quite there yet. And we're starting to see people put that at the front, like AI is answering the phone calls now. So very, very interested to see if that will reverse or course correct a little bit as well.
Yeah, I agree that AI is what I'm primarily interested. I think in the macro level, you've seen companies lean into AI for like CS solutions or to bring more scalability to their support function. But I am more curious about if they can introduce AI in a way that actually improves the experience, not just to check a box. Does it actually improve either the customer's experience or, to Zach's point, about bringing better data points? So at Zumper, we are I guess this is also a little bit of an announcement. We will be rolling out a leasing concierge called Zoe, which will kind of live on our customers' listing detail pages and try to give like a heightened renter experience where we'll answer questions that won't be answerable just from the detail listing on the card.
Yeah.
Can bring in more data points like how far is it for me to go to the closest Whole Foods, to the closest gym, to the closest pediatric urgent care, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress. Like we're still trying to figure out what makes sense for our customers and our renters. And so for me, I'm looking to see if I can get eyes on all the AI ideas at this event.
Very cool. Tell us more about where PMC's property management companies can learn more about both yourselves and the partnership.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be rolling out an announcement. My head of marketing is right here listening, so we will be rolling out an announcement, but I said it is developing live, and then we will be making outreach to our existing customers who we think are great fits for the Rentgrata platform, and we'll be offering them like kind of insider rates, insider deals. I think also you'll likely see Zach joining some of the calls. If you had the privilege to jump on a Zoom or see it, you'll probably see him with the team. So that's what's most interesting about this is typically some of these reseller agreements happen in the background.
Yeah.
But we're going to be very public about it, and we're going to kind of learn from each other as we go, which is, I think, so. Although I'd like to lay out the vision of exactly how it's going to work, I think we're going to iterate as we go and see what works and see what doesn't work. But the idea is to drive as much value as we can to the customer.
Amazing. Gents, thank you so much for joining us. It was really good chatting with you, and very excited to see the formal launch of this. It's an obvious no-brainer. 1 + 1 = 3 for the industry.
Great.
Thank you.
That was good. Thanks.